Atlanta was really on fire. Unfortunately, the show was only half good. I'm Charles Rentham with the retro review of WWE Royal Rumble 2002. 2005 and 2006, those Rumbles will be reviewed very soon. Because, man, I reviewed a lot of these. It's great to look back on some of these Rumbles and see what's great. What I thought was great really wasn't all that great. And maybe something that I thought was shit actually turned out to be pretty goddamn great. With this show, though, half of the matches were under 10 minutes. And really, for the first half of the show, it was like kind of just there. It picked up with the street fight. And even with the, kind of long interference, bump-filled Undisputed Championship match, it was still pretty good for what it was. And the Rumble match, which is, the fucking main event and should always main event the goddamn show, was really, really fucking good. So anyway, Phillips Arena in Atlanta, 16,000 plus, really, really rocking. JR and Lawler on commentary. The Dudleys with Stacy Keibler versus Spike and Taz, tag team championship match, and it was quick. Stacy got choked from behind, on camera, and then the Taz mission on Devon for the victory. That was pretty much it. There really wasn't much to it. So it was 5 minutes. Taz had neck injuries. He would be out very soon after this. I think No Way Out 2002, I think, might have been the last pay-per-view match he had. He had neck injuries and would have to become a full-time commentator, which was just as well. He was already a part-time commentator anyway, so it worked. And Billy and Chuck would then have a pretty dominant tag title run and then lose them to Hogan and Edge on the July 4, 2002 edition of SmackDown. Pretty good reaction, though, for that. So this was what it was. We then get Regal versus Edge Intercontinental Championship match. Regal had used brass knucks to, basically beat Edge, and he won Edge's Intercontinental Championship, and Regal had nosebleeds and needed to have nasal surgeries. I don't remember what the full fucking reason was, but he did have to have, surgical procedures. He had, unfortunately, a lot of injuries later in his career. Still had a hell of a career, though. One of the legit toughest guys that, ever worked in WCW and WWE. And the referee finds Nux in Regal's tights early on. It wasn't good. Edge would have better feuds with Angle and Eddie later in 2002. It was, oddly put together. It didn't gel well. The ref gets pulled in front of Regal and a spear to him, and then Regal finds more brass knucks and fists Edge so hard that he's able to get the victory 1, 2, 3. He holds the Intercontinental Championship until Mania 18 when he drops it to RVD, who then feuds with Eddie Guerrero over it. So, we then get Trish versus Jazz with Jaqueline. Thank you, by the way, Chris. If you happen to be watching this, Durban thank you very much. I have to try so hard to call her Jacqueline. I keep calling her Jaqueline. If you get it, you fucking get it. It's a women's championship match, and it was 4 minutes. This is when they weren't treating the women all that goddamn well. And Jazz, even though Jazz did have injuries, was still legit tough. Trish was moving up and doing pretty damn well by this point. She would get much more polished in about a year. But fucking hell, it was over in 3.5 minutes of sloppy falls and a bulldog 1, 2, 3. Sloppy near falls, that is. And then we get Vince versus Flair in a street fight. All because Vince was upset that Ric Flair was co-owner and, sold the stock to that consortium. And the consortium was me! Shane and Stephanie selling their stock. And basically he's part owner of WWE. Flair apparently didn't think he was going to get back in the ring. Well, he did. And the crowd popped huge for Flair because Atlanta, because WCW. And he's Ric fucking Flair. So, of course, they're going to pop for him. Flair's family at ringside, was it Reed? I think Reed was there and his other daughter. Not Charlotte. I don't remember what his other daughter's name is. Vince dominated first. Lawler was very excited about Vince's, veins popping in his girth and his musculature. Very, very, very popping about that. We get a street sign to the head, rather, and Flair's bleeding. I'm shocked that Flair bleeds in a street fight, or in a match in general. And then we get trash cans. Vince takes Flair's daughter's camera and tries to take pictures. I don't think he knew how cameras worked. I'm not too shocked if he didn't. And he got his knee targeted. He had also targeted Flair's knee. And Vince had used a lead pipe before to bust Flair open, lead to this match. So then Vince gets his lengthy pipe out right in front of Ric Flair, and then we get a low blow. Flair helps Vince monitor the situation later at the announcer's table. And then Vince is bleeding. We get, cameras taken where camera shots taken. Flair's biting Vince. And then figure 4, and Vince taps to a huge pop. That was one of the biggest pops. 2000. That was really goddamn huge. That was really good shit. Speaking of 2002, I almost feel like watching and retro reviewing Mania 18. Should I retro review Mania 18? Let me know in the comments. Nick Patrick is backstage because he's the heel referee, and he's not sure what he's gonna do. Because he was the referee, or like what's going on with all the stuff with Regal and Edge, and then Cole. Cole's interviewing him. Stephanie interrupts. And then it says, well, Triple H will destroy everyone, including Austin, and then she'll beat Deborah's ass. And Austin shows up, what? Like, what? You're going to beat Deborah's ass? No, Austin, that was what you did, and that's why Deborah divorced you. And then, it's like, what? Go on, talk, what? Just kept doing the what thing, and then she screams and runs off. And he says, who's going to win the Rumble? It's Stone Cold. It's Stone Cold. What's part of Stone Cold do you not understand? He does a really fired up promo. Damn shame, I think this is his last Rumble. Yeah, he wasn't in the 2003 Rumble. Because he took a sabbatical for a bit. But that was pretty good stuff. And then he grabs Michael Cole. And it's like, just like, shaking him and stuff like that. So anyway, Rock versus Jericho, Undisputed Championship match. It had its moments, but here's the problem. It was interference-filled, ref bump-filled. It was like a WCW main event where they were just like, we're just going to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Storm and Christian come out and interfere. Hence why I'm wearing this. And Rock bottom through the announcer's table. A ref bump. Nick Patrick comes down. He won't count for the Rock, so Rock hits him with a rock bottom. Get the people's elbow. Original ref is down. He can't revive him. And then we get a low blow, exposed buckle shot. And then dreaded roll up. 1, 2, 3 with the feet on the ropes. And there we go. So we get Chris Jericho retaining. Rock doesn't necessarily look weak. Kind of looks stupid because he didn't just put him away when he had a chance. But I think it's Shawn Michaels in the most Texas outfit that was ever Texased out. I don't even think Texased out is actually something. It might as well be like Texas Toast. It was seriously so fucking Texas. Which makes sense. He was at WWF New York. You remember that failed restaurant venture. So, we then get the Rumble match. It's Rikishi at number 1. One thing about this Rumble, though. Rikishi at number 1, Goldust at number 2. Goldust, Val Venus, Godfather, and I believe Mr. Perfect were all announced ahead of time as surprise entrants. If they hadn't done that, they probably could have gotten an even bigger pop. Now, Goldust still got a pretty big pop because he hadn't been seen in a few years. He left in 99 and then went and became 7 in WCW for about a minute. Fucking hell, that was bad. And then was, the Natural Dustin Rose, the American Nightmare, the original American Nightmare before Cody took it. And now he's back to being Goldust. And then we get the Big Boss Man at number 3, last pay-per-view match, and I think Boss Man had passed away sadly within 2 years. Bradshaw at number 4. We get Lance Storm at number 5, Mr. Personality, as JR says. I mean, I like Storm's a great follow on Twitter, by the way. It's so fucking hilarious, really dry. But yeah, he takes a hell of a clothesline from hell from Bradshaw. That was pretty cool stuff. And I think Al Snow's out there, Billy Gunn's out there, and there's a few people out there. And then Undertaker comes out, and everything just stops. Like, everybody's just like, well, we're fucked. Undertaker eliminates 4 people, clears the ring. Wait a minute, there's nobody left to, eliminate. And he had taken out the Hardys earlier, in subsequent weeks before this. So they make their return. Matt at number 9, Jeff at number 10. Lita joins in the fray and everything, and he has to fight all 3 of them off. And then he eliminates both of them, and they're still out there. And then Maven at number 11, the Tough Enough winner, the male Tough Enough winner. Because Nydia, what happened to Nydia, by the way? What happened to Nydia? She just vanished. I think I saw one of her last matches at the first Raw I went to, right after Unforgiven 2004. I don't remember her being around much after that. But anyway, Maven's out there, and, his huge eyebrows just, standing out there. And he's, all scared, what the hell is going on? He gets in there, and Undertaker just starts mauling him. Beats him down, then Matt and Jeff Hardy, I think Lita gets up, he pie faces her, knocks her down. Matt and Jeff attack. Now the Hardys are getting booed because the fans are like, okay, this is fucking bullshit. What the hell is going on? We've seen enough run-ins, enough interference. Fucking bullshit. Throws him out and everything. He's like, get your ass out of my ring. Maven drop kicks him, eliminates the Undertaker. Undertaker getting his neck under the rope. That wasn't Maven's fault. It was how the bump was took, but it's like, oh, fuck, that looked bad. And Undertaker's just standing there. Maven's freaking out. He's standing up on the ropes. Then he looks like, I'm going to fucking die. He pulled a Mikey Whipwreck. You know what that means, Mikey? It means I'm going to die. He likes it. Mikey really, really likes it. Why my Cactus Jack sounds like Shaggy, I have no idea. Zoinks! Anyway, so let's get on with that. Undertaker proceeds to absolutely destroy Maven. Hits him with a chair shot that hurt me. Luckily, Maven's huge eyebrows cushioned the blow, but fucking hell, that chair shot, if you know the chair shot I'm talking about, it sounds like a freaking rifle shot. It's absolutely insane. It just like echoes throughout the arena, the loud arena. Like, goddamn. Sky Tuati, by the way, gets there and then gets knocked down. So this is where the Rumble kind of crawls to us, kind of crawls like to almost a standstill. Actually, it just kind of stops. Scotty gets in the ring. Christian's there. He's just kind of, like, what the fuck's going on? That mesh top couldn't have been comfortable to wrestle in. Battle of the concessions in the popcorn machine, and Undertaker takes a bite of popcorn that has Maven's blood on it. Sanitary! Goddamn. Man, at least his eyebrows, were all buttered and everything. So, Sky Tuati, Christian, DDP, Chuck, Godfather, and Albert are in there. Saturn. JR is disgust for Chuck. For Chucky Palumbo. Chucky. It's like, why don't you like the name? It's yucky. I don't know. Should you say his name like that? You mean with told to stay in disgust? Like I don't like him? I don't know why that was funny. I don't know what JR had against Chuck Palumbo. I mean, Chuck Palumbo wasn't that bad. Him and Billy were a damn good team. Pretty much the high point for Chuck Palumbo, unfortunately. He's now making custom motorcycles, so good for him. But we then get the Godfather, by the way, when he came out with like 20 escorts because he has an escort service because, he's going legit. Yeah, good thing Victoria was one of the hoes. I say that because Victoria made a hell of a goddamn career, hence why I have this poster back here. Plus, she's really goddamn good in the ring. That proves that you can be dedicated and actually make something work. Austin comes out at 19 to a huge pop. Then he clears the ring, beats up everybody. And then Val Venus at number 20. Val, I'm pretty certain, was spouting conspiracy theories backstage, and everybody just laughed at him because he's a fucking idiot and a fucking prick. And it's probably just upset that he was most well known for being a porn star on WWE TV for like a 2-year period, and then nobody fucking cared about him by 2000. Like seriously, maybe that splash from Rikishi at Fully Loaded 2000 actually knocked more sense out of him than we thought. Test at number 21, he's out quick. Triple H at number 23, 23 minutes. So at least it adds up with that. Pretty good shit. Hurricane comes in at 24, tries to chokeslam both him and Austin, and they just look, what the fuck's he doing? Toss him out. Farouk gets in, and he's eliminated. Mr. Perfect comes back. His first WWE match in... God damn, when the fuck was his last WWE match? Was it in 95? Because I know he had the back injury. He did commentary for the 96 Rumble. I just retro-reviewed that. But god damn, that was... It's been a while. Now, he wrestled in WCW for a few years, from 97, I believe, to like 2000, but he was still pretty damn good at this point. It didn't last very long, and unfortunately, this would be just 13 months before his unfortunate... Actually, not even 13 months, I think like just a year and about 2 weeks. Real shame. Real shame about Mr. Perfect. Very, very talented. Very, very talented. His last appearance, I think, would be on some NWA TNA, weekly pay-per-view. I don't remember what he did, but I remember that was at least he got to appear on a wrestling show. Just such a shame. But he looked good. He did some good stuff. Perfect made his first Rumble appearance in 93, says JR. It was 1990. I mean, I understand things get, things go wrong. I make mistakes, but that's unforgivable. I'm that kid. It's not unforgivable. It's just like, you would think JR would have known that. Even though he wasn't in the company, he has such knowledge of wrestling. Like, bit of a difference there. Anyway, Angle at 26 gets pretty big pop. Show at 27, Kane at 28. And Kane lifts Show out of the ring, and then he gets tossed out. RVD at 29, he's out in 2 minutes. Booker number 30, he eliminates RVD and then is out in 30 seconds after being stunned. And then it's down to Austin, Angle, and Perfect and Triple H. Austin gets tossed by Angle. He's made it to the Final Four, unlike in 96 when he was supposed to make it to the Final Four and he slipped. Accidents happen. Then he takes a chair to everybody. Mr. Perfect gets eliminated. Down to Triple H and Angle, and it looks like Triple H, who, he just returned from his torn quad like a few weeks prior, so of course he was going to win. He won. Huge pop. But it was a really good Rumble. Yes, was it predictable? It was. It was not nearly as good as 2001. It definitely didn't have nearly as messy of a title match as 2003. Scott Steiner versus Triple H. Anybody? Oh dear. God damn, I should retro review that at some point, but I don't think I could torture myself with more bad shit. But anyway, this was a pretty damn good Rumble overall. Let me know what you guys, at least the Rumble match. The event itself was a mixed bag. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.